Hello everyone and welcome to my DIY tutorial for Let's Make a Bib Bandana. First, let me start off by saying that if you do hear background sounds, one being a baby, that would be Cooper, my 4-month-old, or really just like strange grunting, like breathing noises, that would be my English Bulldog Mush. So I just wanted to point that out. Sometimes they will be hanging out with me while I make these tutorials, and I hope you guys don't mind. So making a bib bandana is pretty simple stuff. First, let's go over all of the things that you're going to need. You are going to need a sewing machine, thread of any color, pins, scissors, a snap attacher and snaps, your outline already printed out and put together, starch, an iron, and fabric. The fabric that I'm going to be using for this tutorial is this black fleece and this Buffalo Plaid flannel. To start making these bib bandanas, the first thing that you want to do is to distinguish between your top layer of fabric and your bottom layer of fabric. You want to make sure that your fabric is washed, dried, starched, and ironed all before you begin cutting. Here you have your front back piece and your back piece. So first we're going to start with the front piece. Alrighty guys, so I actually just noticed that the fabric that I was going to use, that red Buffalo Plaid, is actually slightly too small, and I didn't want to start messing around with the fabric during a tutorial. I want to show you guys exactly how to do this project the way that you're supposed to. So I switched over quickly just to another flannel that I had lying around. This is a much thicker flannel. So let's get started. You're going to take your front piece, you're going to fold the fabric. As you can see, this is folded along the line. You're going to place down your front piece just like this. And then you are going to take 2 pins and pin this fabric to the front piece. Next, you are going to take your scissors and you are going to cut out the piece. Alrighty, so here you have your front piece. Next, we are going to cut out our back piece. You want to do the exact same thing. You want to fold your fabric over and you want to lay this part at the fold. Please disregard this. I've used this quite a lot. Usually with coffee in hand since I'm a new mom. Alrighty, so now you're going to cut that out. Alrighty, so this is what your back piece looks like, just like that. And then this is what your front piece looks like over that. So the most important thing to remember during this step is to put this top piece inside out. So if we were going to be using the Buffalo Plaid that I had initially shown, we would have this part laying out like this. That's because this will eventually get flipped inside out, or right side in I should say, and you do not want to do this next step and get halfway through it and then realize that you haven't flipped your fabric. As you can see, your top layer of fabric is a lot bigger than your bottom layer of fabric. So you're going to pin it so that it's pleating. Start at the bottom. I've found that this is much easier to do if you start at the bottom and just pull your fabric to meet the ends. Then what I like to do is pin the center over here. So for this step, it's going to be pretty tricky if you've never done this type of thing before. But what you want to do is you just want to fold a little and pin, fold a little and pin. And then when you sew it, it will be pleated. You want to fold a little and pin, and then fold a little and pin. Fold a little and pin. So this is what you have once you're done pinning. Now it is time to sew. So now that we're finished pinning our fabric together, what we want to do is stitch the perimeter of the bib. That way we can eventually turn it right side in. Make sure to leave about a 1.5 inch gap somewhere around the upper side of the neck part so that it will be hidden once it's flipped. So here's one of the neck pieces. I'm going to start on the outside, probably about right here. For this bib, I'm going to use a size 7 straight stitch. Alrighty. I'm just gonna remove some of the pins just to make it a little bit easier. Make sure that this is grabbing. Alrighty. Ta-da! Dun, da, da, da. And then you go to the opening that you have left. Mine's right here. And you flip your fabric. You want to make sure that you push when you're flipping it at all the creases, the seams I mean, so that you are getting the full shape. So if you've noticed, this tutorial is not for a flat bib bandana. A lot of the bib bandanas that I would see on Etsy would just be 2 pieces of fabric that are sewn together and it kind of just sits. I didn't really like that. I kind of liked the puffy pleated look, and that's why I just really love the printout for this bib bandana. Now I'm going to show you how to finish up the bib. First, you want to take the hole. You do have a hole still, so you want to take that and you want to pin it together like this. So that's how I do it. I pretty much just make a little bit of a stitch line just to close it up. I mean, you can't really see it, especially since this part's going on to, like, this is the neck part of the bib. But yeah, you could always use some fabric glue, I guess. Maybe I'll try that one day. But yeah, with the poofiness, you can't even really tell. See? Okie dokie, so on to the final step. You're going to need a way to close this bib. I guess you could use ribbon or Velcro if you wanted to. I personally like to just have a snap attacher. I had a cheaper snap attacher before I got this one, and it was the biggest waste of money. Just spend the $20 or so to get this one if you plan on making literally more than one bib, because this thing just works so well and it just saves so much time and effort. The other one you have to use like a hammer, and like who has time for that? So it'll come with clasps too. So I like to use clasps, and what I like to do first for this is I like to kind of figure out how I want it to lay. So I think I want, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it that. I think that's the way I want the back to look. So I hold them like this. The top part, you want to have the female part, and the bottom part, you want to have the male part. So you want the top button. So what I'm going to do is take the top, place the top part where I want it, push it through the fabric, like that. This is going to be the top part, so I want the female part. I put that in there, and then you take your little mechanism thing here, and you want to put the circular part in here, and then I just clamp. If you're not following along, like, the directions come with this thing, so it'll teach you how to do it yourself. The one thing I have noticed about this little mechanism is that if your buttons do not clasp properly, it's because you didn't push down hard enough. So you can always just put it right back in there and push down further, and then they'll start working properly. So I'm just going to do this side quick. Did I do that right? Yep. Clamp. Let me just get rid of the little thread piece I have here. A lovely bib bandana. These bib bandanas, when I say that I don't have enough of them, I made about 5 of them thinking that they were more just going to be for like the look of an outfit rather than like actually for use. I use these more than I use bibs. He's teething right now, my 4-month-old, and this does a beautiful job of catching all of the drool and just like globs and spit. Like, fantastic. So I'm actually gonna go today and go and get more fabric at this fabric store and make more of these, because this poor child goes through them like this. So these are fantastic to have. You can make them in all different types of fabric. Really simple stuff once you get past the fear of the pleating. As you can see, look at the pleating. Like, super simple. Like, all I did was just fold a little fabric and then pin, fold a little fabric and pin, and then I just sewed right over it, and you have yourself a nice, neat little pleating. So, perfect beginner project. I hope you guys really love this tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to be having a lot more DIY tutorials coming out. If you see my best baby DIY videos, I named probably like 15 things that I've made. So I'm definitely going to be putting out more videos like this. Hope you guys had a great time. Good luck with your sewing, and I will see you soon. This is a fabric, and you want to try to hide that part. So as you can see now, it looks like I had stitched it even though there's a hole. You want to take that like that in between your fingers, and you want to pin it so that it's holding those pieces together. That